the April 8th, 2026 meeting of the City of Scottsburg Board of Waterworks. Welcome, everybody. It's 4 p.m. And first thing on our agenda is to approve March 25th and April 2nd meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Marvin makes a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Let's go on to public comments. Got a lot of people in here. Do we have anybody wanting to speak from the public right now? All right, we're going to close that portion of our meeting. Before we go to our adjustments, we have a new hire. Yes, so, and Emily, if you would like to.
This is our plant. He's actually going to be in the trainee position, so it'll be water plant operator trainee. His start date will be 4/12/2026. And it's Tommy Johnson, so he actually works in another department within the city part-time, so he will be moving to a full-time position. He will receive a prorated cell phone stipend for the remainder of April and a prorated clothing stipend for the remainder of the year of 2026.
And you heard all that?
yes.
That mayor? Sure.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he's worked at several departments and has a lot of experience with the city, so.
Very excited to have that.
Yeah, right. Board, I need a motion. All right, Paula makes the motion to approve hiring. Tommy? No, that was Joseph. Yeah. Yeah, it's a new one. All right, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Emily, thank you. All right. Have a good night. Right. We are going to go ahead and go on to adjustments. Todd, have you looked over the adjustments?
Yeah. Jeremy.
All right. All right. Second. All right. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries to approve the adjustment. And we'll go right on into old business. And if Jay Huffman would like to, we'll give you the floor and
I'll take the floor, no problem.
all right.
All right, so since the last time I was here, we went over some sign things and we've actually, we opened bids for the Vest Street tank. And so we have I sent a bid tab that I printed a bunch out and I left them laying on my desk. So can you go that way, please? This is the sign if you hadn't seen it.
Oh, okay.
But they ultimately decided on. All right, so I opened bids on the 2nd at 11 a.m. We had 3 bidders. Our low bid was MW Cole with $357. The next one was D and Six Sons. That's they were $466,800, and then Kearns Construction at $498,800. I mean, I know every one of them. They've all done work for us for, well, decades, literally. And so I don't really have any. I mean, there's no reason for me not to tell you that the lowest bid is not okay, because it is. They all turned in the paper that work that they're required to turn in, and so. You know, when I was here the last time, I said it probably was going to be a little more because diesel fuel went up so high. If everybody knows that it went up, so
Well,
I can't control pricing.
I think we were thinking around 300 and
Yep.
in conversation. So good news is we're sitting with about 424,000 in our water tower fund.
Bad news is we got a roof off.
It won't come out of the water tower fund. Yeah, so we are, we're okay, and speaking with Todd, I spoke with him this morning on the phone. And I'll just let you follow up with this. I think I know this is gonna, get our water tower fund down there pretty good, but
Correct.
I think they're all in good shape. So I think we're okay, and this thing builds pretty fast. So, I think even though it come in a little higher than we thought, I think we're gonna be okay. We're not gonna have to pull from anyplace else. And I don't know, maybe, Lauren, we might get together and see if we need to increase that, tower fund in the future. That'll just be something for us to talk about.
You probably are underfunding it right now.
Right, so,
Just because of cost increases and things like that. I mean, I'm glad that you do that. A lot of cities and owners don't do that. And so, the next tank that you would do anything to probably would be the outside of the witch's hat. And I think I believe you're 7, 8 years or so from doing that, and doing just an outside is not too bad. And then of course the firehouse tank would come after that. And that's probably 7 to 10 years away. So you have some time to fund,
yeah,
fund your tanks again.
yeah, so we'll figure out where we need to, adjust that rate. So, all right, does anybody have any questions? We know that you always, these companies you work with, you're always upfront and honest with us, and we appreciate that. If anyone doesn't have any more questions, we'll get a motion to approve MW Cole.
Then I make the motion to take the low bids.
Okay, and that's with NW Cole for
That's-
357,000.
Yes.
Paul is second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries to approve ML Cole.
ML.
I'm sorry,
MW.
MW Cole.
MW.
Sorry.
And so this is the sign that everybody agreed on.
Yes.
And so-
Mayor, have you seen the
So yeah,
sign?
I got a signature on it.
You like it?
I do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do. So this will change a little bit. So, this is kind of a generic tank. So Scottsburg will probably move up the tank a little bit, and it'll probably get a little wider. The state of Indiana will get a little wider. So this will change a little bit. When I have the sign people do this, they kind of just use a generic style tank, and some widths and dimensions. And so she said that a whole bunch of antennas came off today.
Thank you.
And so, you're still going to get a small corral on top. Well, that was always in there, not a big one. There was always a 5x5 corral that was going to get done. That was part of the original bid package. And so we're still going to put that on there. And so she can move, when they're finished, y'all can move to that, and get everything in right in one spot. So, okay. Yep. No problem.
Yes, thank you
Right.
so much. Appreciate your hard work and appreciate you coming to visit.
Yep, that's what I do. All right. Well, if you don't need, sometimes, right? He wants to start fight. All right. If you don't need anything else from me, I will do notices of award, and away we go. And Todd and I'll get this taken care of. And hopefully you won't see or hear anything else out of this until somebody needs a check to get paid. And
All right.
we don't have a time set for this. It'll happen sometime this summer.
Perfect.
We let them kind of work it into their schedule. And I usually ask, the water person, is there a month you don't want this to happen or something like that, and so we don't, because they'll be there at least a month.
Yeah, the location in the summer while school's out is gonna be great.
Right. They're gonna
Yeah.
wanna do it while school's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I asked them not to work on Sundays because the church is right there and
Right.
everything, so they'll wanna do it before school gets back in, so they do it. No dust, no sand, paint.
We got-
Is that when it starts? Okay, that's good to know, because I was gonna ask you that, if you knew about when school was gonna start, so we'll try to, well, pardon me? I'm glad. I appreciate it. All right, we'll work on
Hey,
it.
thanks for everything.
Yep, no,
We'll see you soon.
Yep.
All right. Next on the agenda, I'm gonna go with the 120 water. 120 water, Josh, we've had some discussion on this. They were here our last meeting for probably an hour. So, where we're at on this, Mayor Todd, make sure I'm speaking correctly. They are giving us an $11,000 discount. No, but I'm just saying their wording was they're giving us a $11,000 discount. But
After we paid the 11.
after we paid them,
After we paid.
yeah, so we're still at 38,000. Again, Todd and I spoke this morning. And we wanted to run by the other board members. We feel like that they came in telling us that they had an auto renewal. Josh could not find that. I could not find it. Mayor, did you see anything on that contract?
Mhm.
Says auto renewal. Kind of irritates me that they tried to throw that out there to get the $11,000. And what have they done for the $11,000? And the invoice was for future work, not for work that was already performed. So I really feel strongly that we don't owe them that $11,000. However, they know what IDEM needs to keep us, what's the word I'm looking for? Compliant, thank you. And the 26,000 that they proposed to us, I feel like to keep us compliant, I think that's a good deal, but the 11,000, they're wanting 38,000. So like the mayor says, there is no discount there. They're just adding it back in. So I would be comfortable with the amount of work that they have told Todd that they're going to do. And again, to keep us compliant, I'm comfortable with the 26, but that eliminates that invoice that they sent us for work that they didn't do. So total of 26,000, not 38. I don't know how we want to word that.
He told you. What did he?
About the gentleman with the water.
Yes.
He basically said that the program would be about 2 years long. And that it would all be funded with grant. With a part of that was true. The first year was covered with grant, and the second year I think partially covered with grant. But he acted that the program would be about 2 years long. It would almost fully be funded, but we wouldn't have any money out of our pocket. And the program went in. We would own all of the information collected. Pretty much it. I can't honestly remember everything from.
And, I had called them, could not get through them. Mobile calls, to find somebody. Well, did he ask for anything else? He said, no, I have not. In my mind, we have no reason to pay $11,000. We have no idea what the people talking about. So to me, this is a company that just doesn't have yet. I mean, this is.
I think their expertise is in flood service line improvement. And, they know all the, to they, what they said, they know all the ins and outs of how to. It's like the predictive model, the math, the supposed to come up. If I tried to come up with that math, I would, so. They know how to come up with math to get it approved by us. I don't know if it's true. I was told that they help. Set the guidelines. Oh, they work closely with IBM. And I don't know how close it is with the EPA, but, you know, and again, I don't want to say on record, but I'm the one that started this. I agreed Department of 120 Water, but when I got that invoice last June, $2,000, I mean, I could have brought it to this board and said, you pay this because, oh,
Who says,
I couldn't do it. Right, and here we are, we've been battling over this for a year, and I still can't fix it. So,
Well, the invoice was for future work.
Yeah.
For,
yeah, the invoice that was sent to me last June was for June of 25 to June of 26.
and 120 Water has done nothing. They've done nothing since June of last year. So that needs to go away before we even. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to.
Predictive model, basically what it is there's some discrepancy about how many unknowns we still have to identify. But I'm saying it's closer to 1,700. But basically what this predictive modeling will do is they will take that number that we have to go out and identify, it will take it down to 1,700 to, and based on our findings, they will create the map. Say, these are the 400 that you can go identify. Out of 400, and based on those findings, they guess what the other 1,300 are. So the benefit is we don't have to identify them all. We just have to identify that. They have to come up with a map to tell us we need to go to 122. First Street.
what they say they ain't gonna do it, the 26,000. What they say they ain't gonna do it, we got left paying them 11.
We won't hire
There
you.
other companies can do the same thing.
Is there? Okay. All right, so we'll table.
Sit here. and argue. Now, they don't- Bill Newlands,
Yeah, I thought the one gentleman was there, I thought they didn't have to be, because he took me in. So I called him. The breakdown, the breakdown. Did discount the $11,000. The total cost is $26,940. And I said, well, Bill, well, I can, we can probably talk about that. I said, but that's the total cost, right? And he said, no, the total cost is $38,000.
it's just a flip.
We went back and forth, and I said, we just got. Before we get to.
Let's, since we are tabling this, let's invite them back. Just,
What?
well,
Have they provided us anything in writing as to what this proposal would look like? Have they provided a written proposal for like this 26,000 and 37,000?
I did.
Yeah, I don't have it with me, but.
Circulate that and take a look at that and.
Okay.
Disperse some communication.
and Todd, I don't know, and this may be a good question for you, is there another company that can provide that service for us?
So. Sounds like. And I'm reading confirmations on that side. This is. So I have to take a look at it and see.
Okay.
In the process.
Okay, we would appreciate it.
I know, to your point, Dave, I know there was another company when this all started up. I can't remember the name, but somebody else reached out to me, but I haven't heard.
Not mine, there's others that do this, yes, but I mean, what they're gonna do is they're gonna go to the tax records, they're gonna take a look at all of each of the houses when they were built. And that's how they're gonna eliminate some of it, so they're gonna, it's a lot of,
That's.
so they've already done that.
So. Like the spreadsheet's not adding. I mean, we have found numerous things on the spreadsheet that should be exempt because they were built after we get it. But that's the first thing one was, go through the tax record, and they're telling me that we have roughly 600 homes that are exempt. So anything after November 27 that is still identified as unknown, they,
It's already been put back another, one more time, maybe they'll do it again. Give you another year.
Have 2 years to replace, you guys service. Well, this is.
If you hear us, we have to just identify, but they have 10 years to correct.
don't want, we want to have everything identified at the deadline. We don't want to be responsible for that. Because they're gonna be any,
Unknown, you have to replace. Things in 500 and house. Into that.
Mhm.
That's right into that.
uh,
Server.
But you had a couple houses you found lead in.
Well, there were three. There were three. Yeah, three. 60, a little over 60 gallons. And those were in the older part of town.
Yeah, okay. So we have that tabled and, thank you for the information. We appreciate it. All right. Anybody else have anything to bring before the board, old business? Josh? Just real quick, and then I'm gonna let you have the floor. Financials, Mayor, I don't know if you looked at the financials, but, and I've lost my sheet, but
I've lost any extra sheets too, so hopefully
yeah,
somebody. has them.
oh, here we go. So Todd, I wanted to tell you, or it looks like our chemicals have finally leveled out. We're about the same each month. So I don't know if that's just a amount of weeks in the month or what it is, but I was happy to see that because sometimes we jump 20, 30,000 on those things and it just looks like that it's straight across the board. Now, water hydrant rental, we brought in
That's from where, like, if you notice your water collections last month was
was
really
in
high.
that, yeah,
That's because the city pays all of the public hydrants and it goes into the water collections and then it comes back out. So it offsets over through those 2 months between water collections and the hydrant rentals. That's what I think they pay $206,000 for all the public hydrants. So that's what the two are kind of a wash between those 2 months.
Mayor, I don't see any red flags on here. Yeah, what she's saying, it's a wash.
Between last month and this month, between the water collections and the hydrants, the city pays the public hydrants once a year now. And that's where they're paying all of those public hydrants. But last month they went through water collections and now they're coming out of water collections into the public or into the hydrant.
So that's what put our water collections in the negative 22,000. That's next month it'll wash.
Yeah.
You'll see.
It was 400.
Yeah, 487, 411. So it'll all work out.
It's reflected like that the last couple of years since we've gone to the new system and been able to bill hydrants through the new system.
All right. Anybody have any other questions about financials? Josh, anybody? All right. Okay. We will go in. Our next on our agenda is new business. So we have someone here to talk about the water utility assessment and support. So if you would like to have the floor, come right on.
In the hot seat.
Yeah. Watch Josh, he asks a lot of questions, so. A list for you.
You got a list for me. Shoot. Well, hi, I'm Donna Ennis. I'm with Connected Community Partners. I've met with Dave and the mayor and Todd, and we have discussed performing a utility assessment. We talked about performing a utility assessment for the sustainability of the water utility and, checking the processes and kind of everything that you all have in place and doing a total review of your utility to ensure that you have a sustainable utility to go into the future. When you talk about sustainability, a sustainable water utility, you want to make sure that all of your operations you're planning for the future. You've got a lot of growth that's coming into this area and you haven't really seen that
amount of growth, and it's starting to come on you and that, come into the area. And that is one of the things that puts a lot of strain on utilities, is not preparing for growth that comes. There's a lot of aspects that go into that, and it is your operations, your employees, making sure that you have the amount of employees that are going to maintain all of the systems, keeping up with your flushing programs, and all of the new customers that are coming on, the service calls, just a lot of different aspects in maintaining the growth, maintaining that you do smart growth, that you have the specifications as these developments come, that you have specifications in place to make them install the right infrastructure that you want them to install, that is properly vetted, and when you take it over, that it's not going to be a maintenance nightmare for you. So we talked about doing this assessment. It is a sustainability assessment, and where we would start with meeting with all of you all to talk through what you want to get out of this assessment. What do you want to know? There's other items that I've done with other boards where I've literally met with the boards, and we have looked at the financial plan for the utility, the budget, and we've kind of looked at our rates there. That's one of the aspects that you have. Do we have rates in place that are going to keep our utility sustainable, perform the maintenance? I mean, I thought it was great to sit in here and hear that you guys collect money to maintain your tanks. That is a huge, important part of maintaining your system, keeping up with all the repairs and the upsizing of the mains, and keeping up with all of that is very important. A neighboring, well, it's not necessarily neighboring, but a utility, I'm not going to say their name, but they just did not do that. You probably know them. They're south of here. They didn't do it. They didn't prepare for a sustainable utility, and the repairs on their utility exceeded what they could afford. They ended up having to sell their utility because of that. So, preparing a sustainable utility, making sure that you have a sustainable utility is very important. It's important to the mayor. I've talked to Todd about it, talked to Dave about it. So,
and I'm sorry, I forgot. How far? Is this like a 10-year study?
No. It's a 2-month. It's a 2-month study of doing a total assessment, doing ride-alongs. I mean, getting in, like seeing what the operators are doing, kind of assessing all of everything, the whole total picture of the utility. It's a 2-month. So it's a lot of groundwork to get you all a baseline, so you can plan for, here's our needs. This is what we need to focus on. This is what we're not doing. This is what we need to do.
I guess what I would meant, like our needs for the next 5 years or the next.
Oh, so you're one that's kind of a master plan. This is kind of this is not that. This is not a master plan. I know that you all had with the water project, the Okra water project that you all are doing. They're supposed to be doing some modeling for you, right? So I'm not sure where they are on that. The modeling, once you get the modeling of your system, that is going to kind of work to that capital plan that you're talking about.
Okay.
And big picture, but you need that one, and that's being performed by Midwestern, I believe. Engineers, as they're working on that modeling.
The board know about modeling.
Hydraulic modeling of your system.
This is,
Mhm.
I know about.
What a hydraulic model is of your system, do you know? Okay.
There's that.
So one of the things in my assessment here, and it's optional, I don't know if it's something that you guys would be interested in doing, but I do some training with the boards, and I go through just kind of the basics of the water system and that kind of stuff, talk about water modeling and talk about the whole basics of how your system operates. So when, as a board member, if Todd comes and has a need, you understand what that need is and why what you're acting on, because a lot of times if you come, he comes and makes a request, it's not familiar, and you guys have surface water here. So, that's a lot more in-depth, detailed needs than a groundwater facility. So, I do offer in here some board training if you want to, but a water model is where they take the hydraulics of the system and they look at all of the sizes of the main. They're going to tell you, so if we go out to on 31 at the end of your system and we need to do an extension out here, and you've got an industrial user that's going to come in, they're going to tell you that we need this many gallons and we need this much pressure. They put that in the model because they know all of the sizes of all the mains, and they've taken a look at everything and they've measured the flows out of the hydrants. They've done some flow testing to confirm that. They're going to tell you whether you're going to be able to do that or not to serve that customer. If they're not able to do it, okay, we need to upsize that main. So in order to get that, we need to go to a 12-inch out here, whatever. We may only have a 4-inch. And so we need, in order to add a subdivision on here, we need to go up to an 8-inch. So that's what the hydraulic modeling of the system, they look at the tank levels, the pumps. They look at a whole bunch of different aspects in your system to say if we have a fire, what kind of drain that's going to be on the system and how long we can sustain it with the tanks are full, like you're talking about, you're going to take that tank out of service and paint that this summer. I don't know how many gallons is that? 250? It was a 500,000 gallon tank. So you're going to take that out of service. I'm listening to you all talk about taking that out of service, and you're going to take it out in the heat of the summer. That I don't know what your capacities are at that time.
Actually, we're going to have it down to put the mixer in, right? Oh, we're going to take it. Oh,
They'll have
okay,
to
I
take it down to
misunderstood.
paint. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't put the coating on it. Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be down for a little bit, and factoring that in your summer flow at your peak of the season. That's smart. That's smart.
It's steady. Somebody has to come in and do that.
What is it?
She would, you would be the one to do it.
Yes. So me and my team, I don't know if have you met Josh? Josh Hillman, he's on the team. He's a professional engineer, and I also have other people that I contract with that are operators.
What?
It's $20,000 for 2 months. It's a 2-month study to do this, and it's probably so. The mayor had a heart attack whenever I told him the cost.
I came in.
Big county.
Most of her adult life.
Mhm.
And she knows it inside and out. Her pedigree is this. And she's also with wastewater. Her main thing is she comes from
Mhm.
and she was a foreman over all of this. And
Down there for you, dude.
I'm sure. So, but again, I don't want to be in an area where we have to, you can get, so because if we get used to just doing the same thing every day. I'm trying to look forward. We've replaced 10-inch lines with 12-inch lines. So basically, Lauren's gonna get the same kind of pressure that Josh is gonna get. And instead of having just, have to come off and on what you said for the water. company. So, but again, we want this to be a top notch going forward for everybody in the city. And I want professional people who can look through everything and say, okay, here's what, you're doing really good here, but you need to look at over here. Dumping 234 truckloads into an Army Corps warehouse.
Right.
So,
Part of,
Oh,
part
I'm
of,
sorry.
part of it is sitting down with you all to say, what do you want to see come out of here? What do you really want to take a look at? You know, I mean,
Well,
I've talked to Todd about, the utility of, and the kind of things that I was gonna do. We had a conversation about it yesterday. And, it's more of a sustainability. It's not this is not a finger pointing exercise
Right.
that
Well,
you haven't done, because you've only, that's one of the things, you only know what you know, right? You have no experience outside of your utility. And, maybe there are things that you should be doing that that you're not doing,
you'd be able.
Yes,
well,
yes,
and I mean, I think all of us are, because we know everything's coming from the south.
yes,
And I think all of us here worry about future growth
yes.
and I should rephrase that. We're not worried about future growth. We want that, but we want to make sure
That
we
you're
can handle
ready.
it. Yes.
To get here. And
Yeah.
then you have everything in place to say, here's my developer packet. Here you go. Here's what needs to happen. Follow these specifications. We'll get an inspector. They pay for that. We want you to do it per our specifications.
And I think we've probably been lacking in that some as far as having a plan
Mhm,
to go to
Mhm.
somebody and say, this is what we need you to do. So, Mayor, from what I'm hearing from you, it sounds like you're on board.
I'm very much. Let me express this to you. Our water department, our water utility is probably the most important utility.
Oh, heavens, yes, yes.
I-
Mhm.
So.
The consumer.
I think we don't know. And that's what part of this is. We need to know we don't. And I think to have a professional company and go through everything for us, it's just like an auditor. Looking at your money.
Right.
Here you did real well here.
Now, in your study, sometimes we struggle with rates because we want to keep our water affordable to our customers. But again, we want,
You don't want to get upside down.
exactly. And so you have something in there that will, I know it's not a rate study.
Well,
But-
it's not a rate study, but it's really, I've done this exercise with other water boards where we literally go in and look, and then we put together, here's my 20-year plan of my planned work that I need to do, main replacements. And I mean, we look at, I'm not familiar with the intimate details of your water system, but if you have booster stations, I mean, that's what I would need to look at and assess everything, and then put together that plan and say, is our rate where we need to be to keep up with this stuff? And to make sure that if we need to expand things in our system for capacity, do we have the rate to support that? So it is an assessment where we do that, and basically you take a look at it and say, okay, here's what it looks like, and we're not going to make that, I
Right.
mean, that involves all the stakeholders here. There's lots of stakeholders that we need to get in this conversation. the clerk treasurer, obviously, that takes care of the money, and see what, your reserves and all of that stuff looks like, and how much money you're setting aside. I mean, it's great that you guys do tank maintenance. There's so many systems that are not doing tank maintenance, and, they get upside down and they can't afford it. So taking a look at that, I mean, that's very important. And that's important part of, you guys have to be willing to sit down and let's, not, maybe not the whole board, but if y'all don't want to, but I mean, I would highly suggest everybody sitting down and let's do this as together.
I think.
It's been very conservative. But I want you to be.
Well,
Part of sustainability is that if Todd leaves, that you have the money to afford to replace Todd with, the licensed operator and keeping up with pay and benefits. I mean, that's part of having a sustainable utility, making sure that you're paying the people and that if they leave, you can replace them.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, probably will not.
I do.
Oh, go ahead, Chuck.
So it's my understanding from the internet that you are now some type of media personality on the interwebs. Will you still have time to dedicate to this project?
Absolutely.
Would you like to go into detail?
I'll let
on
her
that?
explain it. It's a good story.
Yeah, I heard CNN coming down.
Explain after the meeting.
I told you not to sit by him, so. So, and enter at your own risk. I told you, so. All right, so, you have anything else?
I don't know if I'm.
Mayor, I get the feeling, I think like the rest of the board, that you want to move forward with this.
Connected community partners, yeah.
And
I have a question.
sure,
Is there a time when it has to start and be done?
Whenever you guys want me to do it. I mean, I'm on your time frame.
4:48 now. No, I think I speak for the rest of the board. We look forward to
Yes.
getting educated. I've been on the board since 17, 18. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that I still don't know. And, I appreciate your support, Mayor. So back to our motion is on the floor. So we have a second from Paula. Todd, anybody, Josh, any questions? Everybody good? So all in favor? All right, motion carries. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to working with you. And looking forward to Scottsburg's future growth, because we all know it's there, it's coming. And I think the mayor couldn't have said it better. We need to be prepared. Okay, next on new business. We have increasing the monthly depreciation. Is that something, Jan, we need to, or are you on board with this? Or today's the 8th. Yeah, listen close.
He tries to impress me.
I think 4,000 in depreciation.
Yeah,
Yes.
4,000, yeah.
I'd like to make a recommendation. Up that. With the coal purchase of our treatment plant, it is starting to feel to me, you know, people don't realize that a lot of those pump motors, they run almost nonstop.
24/7, yeah.
And it's a good example of backup. Back in November. And technician, he was able to get it back up and go take the part that was faulty. He said that it's about to become obsolete. You know, and stuff like that. So.
What do you think of all of it? How much you want to raise?
I mean, if it's 4,000 a month right now, I would recommend at least double. If it's 4,000.
So have you had a conversation with Jan?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't necessarily, I mean, I mentioned to her about upping it, but we didn't necessarily talk about how much.
If the rest of the board's okay, because Jan knows our numbers so well. Before we, I mean, I agree with you, we definitely need to do it, but I don't want to win the battle and lose the war. So would you mind to have a conversation with Jan and see where she's comfortable putting that? Yeah.
It's basically 50,000. You're, 100,000.
I mean, I feel like it's okay, but I'd really just, yeah, and I'm sure between now and the next meeting, you can meet with her and yeah, okay. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you, Todd. All right. Any more new business coming before the board? We've talked about our new hires. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, on the, small things with one, to improve, start to pass number.
Good. Perfect. All right, Josh, you have anything for us?
I do not.
New business? All right. Anything from front office? We're good? All right. Stacy? Good? All right. All right. Only other thing we have is announcements. See any announcements? Marvin?
Second.
All in favor of adjournment? Aye. All right. Thank you guys so much.
He will.